This little box instantly elevated my band's gigs, and if you stick around to the end, I'll let you know how you can save 10% off of one. Let's go! Hi, my name is Adam, welcome to the channel. My goal is to help you make good money playing music. If that sounds like something you would be into, please subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. So if you're a solo musician or part of a band, you know that music is only one part of the performance and how the quality of production can turn a standard performance into something really special. The problem is for most of us, we're already busy gigging, and the prospect of dedicating time to learn about lighting, DMX, and all the integrations necessary to program lights for your band keeps you from even starting. When my band started doing private gigs, I bought a pair of LED pars with stands and set them to that basic color change program. They have a sound responsive mode, but in our case, it was way too sensitive and basically just strobed so much it was distracting. The same goes for these up lights. We basically just set them to white and that's pretty much it. It got the job done, but there's nothing exciting about it. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I was ready to get rid of them. But a few weeks ago, I got a piece of gear that totally changed my mind and showed me how capable these fixtures are, and frankly, how much I had underutilized them. This is MaestroDMX, an autonomous lighting designer in a box that makes decisions like a professional lighting designer. It offers insane lighting control capabilities that give your band a custom light show that syncs perfectly with your performance. With customizable effects and dead simple integration with your existing setup, the Maestro gives you the power to elevate your live performance to a completely new level, all without additional software and weeks of programming. For those of you who may be familiar, this was previously a Kickstarter product that was announced back in 2021. Well, they met their funding goal and the product itself was released late last year. There has been a lot of buzz about this product, and a few of our subscribers were a part of the original Kickstarter campaign. And while most of the information out there currently is geared towards DJs, I knew that this could be a really amazing solution for working musicians like myself and other bands who need a way to automate their lights but don't know how or are too busy. Okay, let's take a look at this thing. On the back, you have a USB-C power connection that uses a standard 5-volt adapter. It's got two USB ports, one of which has a Wi-Fi dongle in it to control the device wirelessly, and there's also an Ethernet port if you want a more reliable connection. The front has stereo RCA inputs and a single DMX output. The basic gist is that you take an output from your mixer and connect it to the device. Then the MaestroDMX listens to the music and pumps out DMX commands to your fixtures, creating a totally unique performance every single time. So when I got this, I unboxed it, downloaded the latest firmware to a flash drive, and updated it. From there, I connected my computer to its Wi-Fi network and opened up their browser-based dashboard. This is where you start your setup and control things manually. And since it's browser-based, you can also do this from a phone or tablet. To start, you need to set up a stage. This is where you can input what light fixtures you already have. Currently, I have a pair of Chauvet DJ 4-bars and a pair of Chauvet DJ color picks. They have a pretty extensive library of existing lights from all the major manufacturers, so you should be able to easily locate your gear and add it to the stage. And yes, that includes moving heads, lasers, fog machines, and stuff like that. You can really get into the weeds here as far as how things are set up and how the controller handles things. Just note this is a surface level review of what I did to get things going. Once my fixtures were added, I plugged them all together with DMX cables and set them to the appropriate channels so Maestro could do its thing. Your main interface is going to be under the Show tab. This section is where you can choose the patterns and color palettes for your lights. They have different categories of patterns that can easily set the mood of your show or a specific song. They also have buttons that can trigger specific effects or blackouts that you can engage manually using the web interface or via MIDI controller. You can also set up different sequences and stack them so your lights change as the show progresses. I set mine up with a few different cues and set them to change every 5 minutes. Note these sequences are going to perform according to the music being played, so even if you only pick one for the whole gig, they will react to your performance and still be unique throughout the night. All right, now we need to feed some audio into this thing. My suggestion would be to set up a submix from your board that sends it a few key instruments. At bare minimum, you should send it the kick signal, as that's primarily how it's going to determine the tempo of the song you're playing. In my testing, it also seemed to like guitars, keys, and vocals. And if you really want to lock it in, you can send your click track to it also. But after all of that testing, when we actually got to rehearsal, it turns out that what I had set up was basically our drummer's in-ear mix. So I just set that to the RCA outputs of our X32 and we were up and running. Using this information, the Maestro will start programming your lights to interact with your music, changing colors, running different patterns, swelling and dimming, all along to your performance. When the music stops, you can set set Maestro to a static look so your between song banter doesn't look like a rave. You can be as hands-on or as hands-off as you want. I did end up finding this old Akai LPD8 in my closet and set it up to trigger specific commands, and it works flawlessly. I was completely blown away by what it was able to do. I've owned these same light fixtures for like 8 years, and I've never seen them do what the Maestro is able to do. And listen, I know gear reviews throw this term around, but this is a legitimate game changer for me and my bands. It's made our shows more engaging and dynamic instantly. I'm hard pressed to find another piece of gear that I've used recently with this much impact. There are 2 issues I've run into though. I'd initially planned on setting Maestro up with our playback rig to send MIDI commands to make changes and tighten things up, but the catch is that Maestro is set up like a MIDI host, just like your computer is. So in order to network the 2 devices together, you have to use multiple USB to MIDI adapters with bridge pins and connect them that way. It's not a deal breaker, but I think there are more sophisticated ways to do this. And more than likely, the control options for this unit are going to continue to evolve. I mean, we're only on firmware version 1.3, and their developers are very involved with the user community, and they've already added multiple features that folks like us have requested. But the other problem is a bit more serious. I now want to buy like a dozen more lights, and that's a problem I don't think Maestro can solve. So, in conclusion, the Maestro DMX is a fantastic product. It is incredibly powerful, yet easy to configure. It creates amazing visuals for your performances, and its retail cost is about the same as a halfway decent guitar. But the investment is well worth it, in my opinion. Speaking of cost, we've partnered with MaestroDMX to offer you guys a 10% discount to pick one up for your band. Simply use the link in the description or enter discount for CBC at checkout to get this unit for $675 US, or $75 off. That's gonna do it for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We post new videos every single Friday. Also, be sure to check out the podcast. We're closing in on 350 episodes covering all the ways that you can make good money playing music. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time.